Welcome to the very first episode of the Yardie Yogi Perspective podcast. What is the Yardie Yogi Perspective podcast, you may ask? Well, in simplest terms, we have got to do the deconditioning programming. Yeah, I got that in a download, those words exactly. And so I'm using it. I'm just running with it. This is a space where we will dive into powerful, conscious conversations centering Black healing, resilience, and empowerment. Exploring wellness from an afrocentric humanitarian perspective, where healing is not only personal. I feel like it's disappearing within our culture. Within I think there's still a lot of work that needs to be done where healing is concerned. So in this episode I will walk you through what you can expect from the Yardie Yogi perspective, what it's all about. It's really a journey to reconnect with our true selves. That is the journey that I'm on, and as a lifelong learner, as somebody that's so excited, and I'm just excited to learn and grow. I'm excited to learn and grow. And a lot of learning is just being open minded and open to different perspectives. So, yes, I want to center conversations where we talk about how we can face and release old traumas and build a community around that shared value, around that shared path to self love, to rest, to liberation, ultimately. I'll also share pieces of my own story. Growing up in Jamaica, how I got into yoga, to committing to just being my freest, most authentic self and freeing myself from self imposed limitations and wanting to hold on to versions of yourself or your idea or my own idea of the way I think my life should be going. I think we're all dealing with that. So, along the way, as I learn, I want to introduce some of the tools that have been key and have been helping to transform my life, like yoga, meditation, breath work, human design. We'll talk about that later. And just setting a foundation where we're making changes and creating just a foundation for the journey we'll share together on this podcast. Those tools will be setting a foundation for the journey that we will share together. What can you expect? This space will center conversations on healing, particularly for Black people, people of African descent, where we can openly discuss our struggles, our pain points, the trauma and the generational pain that we're still carrying, the tension, the struggle. How can we release? How can we shift and adapt? So I want to make space for that because that is our lives. We'll always be healing. It is not arriving at a destination, it's a lifelong journey. So balancing practical ways that we can release stress and tension from our bodies. I'm endorsing rest and rejuvenation. I understand the hustle culture, yes, to some extent. Hustle, hustle, hustle for what? Even if you're not sure where you're going, I feel like I've done that. I want to endorse rest and rejuvenation. Rest as resistance, being rested and resilient. I'm certain that is one of our ancestors' wildest dreams. Just to rest, to learn how to release. We will face the harsh reality of what the world is. We're living in a neo-colonial world that was quite literally not built for us. Instead, it was built on the backs of the ones that came before us. So we cannot ignore that. We're living in it. If you have your eyes open, you can see. Uh to some extent, it's like how much you're willing to show up in the world. Like the Yardie Yogi perspective is also a space where I'm going to share my personal healing journey so that I can cultivate a community of a soul tribe. Me need that. That me I look for. I've been isolated in my own journey, and I'm sure I'm not alone. I think the community and connection that I would love to see. I feel like so much change has happened in the past 20 years or so. We've gotten to a point where it's really individualistic and isolating, unfortunately. And you can be around people and be with people and be so distracted, and you're still very much alone. I want this to be about collective healing, about lifting each other up using tools and practices that can help to guide us to our highest, most authentic selves. Yeah, I think that's an absolute mission of life. Like, all of us are here to learn who we are, who we came here to be. But we don't have to walk this path alone. As an act of resistance, I want us to reclaim our well-being with intentional wellness practices. One of my personal philosophies, one of my core beliefs is that we're all experiencing life at the same time for the first time. And so we should be at a more unified journey. That might be utopic and weird a little bit. I don't think it should be. It shouldn't be. I would like to live in a world where we actually center our humanity and divinity above all else. But as humans, we are motivated by desires, and that can make us be very selfish. I have no patience for pretense. This is not church or religious indoctrination of any kind. This is not therapy either. I'm not a mental health professional. It is a perspective, a Yardie Yogi perspective. I believe a life of ease and flow is possible. That's the journey that I'm on, that I'm seeking and cultivating each day. And I want to share what I find valuable tools with you. So, who will connect with this podcast? If you're curious, open minded, and committed to a lifelong journey of just learning, this podcast is for you. If you're here to embrace self love, practicing self acceptance, and learning to let go of what doesn't serve you, what no longer serves you, you're in the right place. Together, we will uncover answers within ourselves by connecting to ourselves and listening to our inner voice or intuition, and learn to live life just courageously at your fullest, most authentic self. So, a little bit about me. I'm Jahdea. As you can tell, I am fascinated by tools that help you to grow personally, physically, spiritually, especially. I am a Yardie, born and raised in Portland, Jamaica for 25 years. I did the higher education thing. I wouldn't necessarily identify as Rasta, but I identify with a lot of the tenets of Rastafari, knowing where it started and the mission behind it. And it's about freedom, liberating yourselves as Black people, knowing yourself, your history, where you came from. That's very important, your roots. And I'm a lifelong learner. So I'm holding on to my roots and I'm exposing myself to different environments with different people, just different ways. So I'm pulling on all the different things that I'm learning that brings me so much joy, that I find valuable. And I'm now using this podcast as a way to not only learn, but also to do my own healing work around speaking and sharing my voice. Growing up in Jamaica, I faced my own fair share of trauma, one of them relating to my self expression. I am someone that's more quieter, more on the reserved side. I've always been very introspective. I've been misunderstood a lot, unfortunately, but I've learned to embrace my healing and my introspection. They are my strengths. So, my journey into yoga has been transformative. It's helping me to balance and release emotional pain that I've learned through personal experience, how bottling up emotional stuff, not intentionally, because we take in energies from our environments without even being aware of it, and that's where a lot of the tension and stress comes from. And so I know what it feels like, even now, being so tense in your body, carrying a lot of pain and trauma, not knowing how to quite do the work to release. It's not just snap your finger and, oh, I just choose to release and it's gone. It doesn't work like that. So today I'm here to share my story in hopes that I can help to support you on your own path. Tools that we will explore together: yoga, a physical asana practice. It is more than just a physical practice, though. Yoga is a science, it's a way of connecting the mind, body, and spirit and finding equilibrium, balance. Another tool can be breathwork. Breathwork helps you to ground yourself and be in the present moment. As a voluntary and involuntary thing, we don't often think about it, but breath, pranayama, life force energy, it's life force energy. We cannot live without it. And so when we consciously tap into the breath, lot of healing there. And breath helps you to calm the body and prepares the body for meditation. So this is where you sit in a quiet space. You just observe your thoughts. It's not about stopping the thoughts. It's just about observing yourself, observing where the mind goes, and seeing if you can find stillness there. This is when you learn your true self, when you allow yourself to just sit in quietness with you. It brings a lot of calm and it brings clarity. Another tool that's been powerful in the past 3 years of my life has been human design. It's a tool of deconditioning from societal expectations by understanding your unique energy, what you need to do to make sure that you're living in alignment with your authentic self. And I might make reference to human design throughout the podcast, but I won't necessarily dive into it maybe in season 2 or 3. Let's see where it goes. Another very important tool is affirmations. This one can be hard. It's making simple yet powerful reminders to yourself. Hearing yourself speak life about you, speak positive words of affirmations that it's rooted in self love, self acceptance, self empowerment. It's very powerful. And I invite you to even look yourself in the mirror, look yourself in the eyes while you're saying these things. To think the bigger picture of what I want this thing to be, I want it to be a community, a black community, although open to everyone, if you can resonate with the message, if you can resonate with the messenger, and if you can resonate with just being a human. Still, we're humanitarians. The Jamaican community, to be specific, has a deep need for healing. There's so much work that can be done there. There's so much work that needs to be done there. Nevertheless, I'll always acknowledge and point out that we're navigating systems of distractions, systems of oppression. It is time to free ourselves from generational patterns that aren't helping us forward. Because, of course, I'm going to embrace us holding on to our roots and whatever you find valuable. We just don't want to be repeating these cycles of destruction, these cycles of lack, these cycles of poverty, these cycles of abuse, these cycles of lack of compassion. For those seeking light, hope, and inspiration, this podcast is a place to reclaim your power. A lot of what I'll have to say will be the unpopular opinion. I'm coming and doing the work to embrace being the black sheep that I've always known myself to be. So while I may be quiet and soft spoken. I didn't come to this realm to conform. A part of my healing journey is to let go of the fear of judgment, fear of rejection. As long as I have faith and self acceptance, I'll be alright. My willingness to learn and grow with authenticity will lead me exactly where I'm supposed to be. And most importantly, my trust and faith in a higher power, in divine guidance, in divine love. I'll be alright. Yeah. Life is about balancing softness and strength. That's my own personal saying. That's my signature right now. I'm doing the work to see how I can cultivate balancing softness and strength to empower, to heal. This is a journey to help you cultivate both your soft side and the side that has to be strong. Because that's a topic on an in and of itself, being strong, not because we want to, but because we have to. How much of that cycle you want to keep repeating? Me tired. Yeah, I'm in pain. My lower back kill me. Every day we have to do the work to release because every day we're taking in. So this is a journey to help you cultivate your inner strength and your inner softness and how you can manipulate that and use that to make your life a life of ease and ultimate well-being. In wrapping up this episode, this podcast will be a space for growth, healing, and liberation. Each episode is a step on a journey to reconnecting with your true self, to align with your deepest values, and to walk on your path with intention, clarity, and resilience. And even if you don't have the clarity, that's a part of the journey. So if you are ready to begin and continue on a journey dedicated to your self-love, your authentic self-expression, and your joy, tune in every Wednesday to the Yardie Yogi Perspective. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at the Yardie Yogi. Until next time, stay rested, stay resilient. The journey to flow starts here.